Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to another episode of the Red Light Sports Ramble, presented by the Red Light Sports Network. I'm your co-host, Troy Otradovec, joined by the marvelous Evan Witalison out in the great state of Wisconsin. What's going on today, buddy? It's an exciting day in basketball.
Yeah, well, it's a great night to be a Wisconsinite today. Great night if you're a high school sports fan or if you're a Wisconsin college sports fan. Great night in Wisconsin. That's seen three players from the state of Wisconsin, two Wisconsin natives, drafted tonight in the first round. We'll get more into detail a little later, but Sam Decker from Sheboygan, Kayvon Looney from Milwaukee, both got drafted in the first round, and Frank Kaminsky, who not from Wisconsin but played his college ball at Wisconsin, he got drafted as well. And he was actually a top 10 pick. So, big, exciting night in Wisconsin. Unless you wanted the Milwaukee Bucks to get Sam Decker, and if you want to read something funny, is go to the Twitter account JS Comments, and some of the comments regarding the Bucks not taking Decker. Troy, quote, "Ignorance mistaken, this won't affect the arena deal. Bucks won't even draft Decker, the best player available in the draft. Screw them, no arena, let them move. Watch this guy play a couple games for UNLV early in the season. Epic failure by Bucks. This guy will never play, not athletic, too short." And, the Bucks, and we'll get into the draft, drafted Vaughn, let me get his first name, Rashad Vaughn out of UNLV. He's about 6'5", 6'6", shooting guard. And according to a comment this guy made on an article at the Journal-Sentinel, saying 6'6" is too short to play shooting guard in the NBA. Well, I'm glad Michael Jordan played in the NBA when he did, Troy, because if Michael Jordan, I guess, played in today's NBA, he would have been too short. And the other one is, today is the day the Milwaukee Bucks franchise made it clear they do not want to stay in Milwaukee. Passing on the local connection with Decker proves no loyalty or desire tied to the state, no incentive to purchase season tickets. Since 1970, I followed the Bucks. They pass on a hometown star for another wounded 18-year-old. What a joke. Last I checked, Decker's from Sheboygan, not Milwaukee. And Bucks can go to hell. Could have had Decker and picked this loser. Screw the new arena. Let them move. Will not support this crap. And the Bucks are a disgrace. Hometown hero Sam Decker, and they select some jabroni in Joey Seattle. So I guess The Rock is writing into JS Comments as well. Because JS Comments, if you're not aware, for the listeners, it's not affiliated with the Journal-Sentinel. It's the guy goes in and takes, I guess you would call them the best or the most idiotic comments that general people make on the message boards that these have. But, wow, talk about people mad that the Bucks didn't draft Decker, huh, Troy?
Well, I'm going to say one thing here. I can understand being mad by picking Vaughn, because I kind of scratched my head a little bit, too, with the Vaughn pick. But you and I talked about this, Evan. Is Sam Decker even a good fit in Milwaukee? My answer is no. My answer for Sam Decker, if you are a true Badger fan and a Sam Decker fan, you didn't want him going to Milwaukee if you wanted to see him flourish in the NBA. I don't think he's a good fit in Milwaukee. So just because he's a hometown hero, just because he's from Wisconsin, doesn't mean he needs to play on the Bucks. I don't think he's a good fit in Milwaukee. I'm happy for Sam Decker. I'm happy for him. I'm not mad at the Bucks for not taking Sam Decker. I'm mad at the Bucks for taking Vaughn when they could have got somebody else that fit a pressing need. That's where I'm upset. What are your thoughts, buddy?
Yeah, well, Decker obviously wasn't a good fit for the Bucks. They got Jabari Parker last year. They got Giannis the year prior. They don't, if they draft another small forward and Sam Decker, what are the Bucks going to do? Now they got 3 young small forwards they're developing, and that doesn't really make any sense to me. So, yeah, I like Decker as a player, but the Bucks weren't a good fit. And, Decker's happy to be in Houston, and he was happy to get out of the state. He was happy to be out of here. And his dad even said, because it came out the Bucks wouldn't draft him before the draft even started if you were to fall to him. And his dad said it was kind of glad that they wouldn't, because it's going to it's going to give him a chance to get out of the state of Wisconsin. He's a guy that's lived in the state his entire life. So, I'm glad they didn't draft him for a couple of reasons. Yeah, you might have sold a few more season tickets for, some diehard Badger fans that wouldn't normally buy tickets. But, Bucks are looking long term. And me personally, I kind of differ with you. I kind of like, after I've researched Vaughn a little bit, I kind of like him. He's 6'6", shooting guard. He's athletic. He's a good scorer. He has a good three-point shot. He can get to the hoop, and he can rebound well for his positions. Yeah, he's not very long, not great at the free throw line, but I think he's a good fit in Milwaukee. They got Michael Carter-Williams is about 6'6" if he stays. They have this guy is about 6. He's like 6'5", 6'6". Giannis is about 6'11". Then you have Jabari Parker, that's about 6'9". So the Bucks have a very long team. Now, yeah, it would have been nice if they would have drafted a 4 or a 5, but there's not really any 4 or 5 necessarily on the board when the Bucks drafted, really. There wasn't really, a lot of guys at that position. The one guy that they could have looked at was Bobby Portis, who the Bulls took in the first round. But that was one guy, one power forward that could have fit for the Bucks. But if you're not exactly sold on a guy, then you take best guy available, best position available, which might not have been him, but you take the best person available that fits in need. And guard really is a need because they have. They have Middleton, who might leave. He's a restricted free agent. Middleton might be gone. The team might offer him some ridiculous money. O.J. Mayo's not getting any younger, so the shooting guard position really is a need. If you really think about it, the shooting guard position really is a need. But we'll see. The NBA draft, it's you usually see more of an immediate impact from guys drafted in the top 10. Guys drafted after 10, you typically don't see a huge impact right away. And the Bucks are a young enough team. Vaughn makes the age 20 and younger that the Bucks have. So obviously they're a young team. They're a young team that's growing. And you know why the Bucks didn't draft Decker? I just realized Decker's 21. Decker is too old for the Bucks to draft.
Very, very well could be. Very good point, buddy. Very good point there. But I think our point, whether we agree, you and I, on Vaughn, and yet it's to be proven. It's okay for us to disagree on something. I think we agree, though, that these fans need to really step back and take a look when they're starting to criticize the Bucks about Sam Decker. You made the point. We've discussed this on the show. We discussed it after the college basketball season. And you hit it right on the head. You want 3 forwards, small forwards on your team. Who's getting on the floor? Who's getting the playing time? And that's why you and I agree that Sam Decker going to Milwaukee would not have been a professionally good fit. Yeah, it would have been the feel-good story, but not professionally. And I think Houston, for Sam Decker, is a wonderful team for him to go to. I think he'll have opportunity there to play with Harden and to play with some of those guys there, and that team likes to score. That team likes to score, and I think that is a very good fit for Sam Decker when you're looking at the overall scheme of things. What are your thoughts about Decker to Houston? You know, I know we only got a 30-minute show, but what are your quick thoughts on Decker to Houston? Good fit, yes or no?
Well, I think it's a good fit for Houston, but for Decker, though, unfortunately, I hope Decker doesn't mind not seeing the basketball because he plays for a team that has James Harden on it, and Harden averaged about 18 shots a game, 19 shots a game this year. So I hope he doesn't mind not seeing the basketball because it's not going to be distributed a lot. Harden takes a lot of shots, and he, possesses the basketball a lot. But Decker, I think it's a good fit. I think Milwaukee, there would have been the added pressure on him too about playing so close to home. He doesn't have any of that added pressure, and he's playing for a team that's a NBA Finals contender right now. Where the Bucks, I think next year the Bucks would be a team that might win a playoff series or two, but they're not contenders in the East yet. Well, the Rockets are one of the contenders in the West. They made the Western Conference Finals last year, and they came pretty close to knocking off Golden State. So I think it's a good fit. And another guy, Wisconsin guy, I thought was a good fit was Kaminsky going to the Hornets. The Hornets kind of need a big guy on their team. I know people, his athleticism worries people, but he's a big guy. He's not your typical low post bruiser. But he's got good footwork, good post moves. He can shoot the three. He can, run. He can rebound well for his position. He's a great passer. And I think, he needs to get stronger. But I think this is a good pick for the Hornets. And he's not going to need, he's not going to be a superstar in the NBA. But I think he could be a solid, consistent player in the NBA. But what are your thoughts on Kaminsky going to the Hornets?
Yeah, actually, I don't disagree with you. Frank the Tank dominated college basketball last year because of his size and his athleticism. Now he becomes, in my mind, and no disregard to Frank, he's a very good player, but really he becomes now an average type player in the NBA to above average. But the one thing that you're going to get from him is you're going to get good work ethic. And a guy that works hard. I mean, he had to work for what he got last year, and it was nice to see a blue-collar guy get all the accolades because of the hard work he put in. And the same thing's going to happen when he goes to the NBA. Talent-wise now, he's not going to be more athletic than a lot of these guys. He's going to have to get bigger, but Frank is going to work hard. So I think the Hornets got a guy that has a great work ethic, that knows the game of basketball, and is going to give you a good day's work every time he goes on the court. So I think it's a good fit. And I think Frank will be a good NBA basketball player, and he'll stay in the league a while, like I said, because of that work ethic. And he can do a little bit of everything. He can step out and shoot the ball. He can rebound. He can assist. He can play defense. This is a good all-around player. So for the Hornets to take him at 9, I think that's a great pick for the Hornets. And I think for Kaminsky, he needed to go to a place where he can get on the court a little bit, and in Charlotte he can. So,
yeah, definitely. But hey, as much as some, I should say, state of Wisconsin fans are mad that the Bucks didn't take Decker, or they weren't able to take Kaminsky. Hey, at least you didn't take Kristaps Porzingis, a power forward who I think a strong gust of wind would blow him over. But a 7 foot, 220-pound power forward who is not really he's very long, not really a typical 5. He's not going to bang down low. He's more of your Dirk Nowitzki type 5, not your Tim Duncan. Dirk Nowitzki 4, not your Tim Duncan 4. But at least you didn't draft him. And, there's a kid's reaction. I recommend everyone look it up. Nick's kid. Look it up on Twitter. The vines are all over Twitter of the kid. But I think that was quite funny. But one of my bigger head scratchers, though, and this is kind of what made me scratch my head. The Lakers taking D'Angelo Russell, number 2. They passed on Jahlil Okafor and took the D'Angelo